I wish you a happy feast of the Ascension. And because it's a feast day, I have to remind you and urge you, as I always do, to spend the day feasting, because that's what the church asks us to do on feast days. So on this Mother's Day, in which we honor and pray for all of you who are mothers, I hope that you have a great feast prepared today. And I have some really sad news that Mother Nature has not been our friend, and so the Mother's Day fiesta in the park has been canceled because the park's a swamp right now. And so they're going to try to do it next week if the park's available. They were trying to set up this morning, and it was like impossible. So you can't go have tacos in the park, but maybe you can figure out something, maybe. So a blessed Mother's Day to all of you and to our mothers. And I want to take a moment just to speak about our Blessed Mother. As Christ established the kingdom, he established within the kingdom a family. In that family we have a mother. And May is a month in which we traditionally honor our Blessed Mother, which is why Mother's Day is in the month of May. Maybe you didn't know that, because of Mary. And she is there to intercede for us, to care for us like a good mother. And I wanted to simply tell a simple, short story that I heard that helps us understand how Mary's intercession, how it works, how it can work, and how it can help us. And I want to invite all of us to take a moment. We're going to take a moment to call to mind what it is that we want to pray to Christ for, and have Mary take our prayers to him on our behalf. We're going to all have a moment, because we all have things going on in our lives, and to do some particular intentional prayer around these things today. So I heard this story about our Blessed Mother, and I really liked it. It's a made-up story, but here's how it goes. In the times of kings and queens, there was a particular kingdom in which the king was a beloved king, and everyone loved him. And on his birthday, every year, the citizens of the kingdom would, out of their love for him, would bring him a birthday gift. And there was a boy. There was a boy in this little village, and he was, so poor. He was poor, but he loved the king, and he wanted to bring a gift to the king, but he had nothing to give. They did have an apple tree in his yard, but the worms had gotten to the trees that year, so all he had was a wormy apple. And so he debated all day, do I bring a wormy apple to the king? But I have nothing. He had nothing else to give. And so towards the end of the day, he finally musters up his courage, and he plucks one of these wormy apples, and he goes up to the castle. Everyone else has left, and he's the last one, and he knocks on the door, the apple behind his back, and the door opens, and there's the king's mother. The king's mother's at the door, and he says, hi, how may I help you? And the little boy says, my lady, I brought a gift for the king. Oh, you did? Oh, you did? Well, good. It's just in time. It's getting late, but you could probably still give it to him. And he says, and he kind of really shyly holds out this apple, and he's really embarrassed. And he says, well, this is all I have. And the mother says, don't you worry, honey, come with me. And she takes the apple, and she goes into the kitchen, and she washes the apple, and she takes out her paring knife, and she cuts the apple, and she cuts out the wormy parts, and she slices it and arranges it nicely on a plate, and says, now take that to the king. That's Mary. That's our mother as our intercessor. It's when we pray to Jesus and ask for Mary's intercession, it's our same prayer that gets to Jesus. Mary's our intercessor, and we see that in the Gospel of John, that wonderful story of the wedding of Cana. Maybe you remember that, when they were at a wedding and Mary was there, and the wine runs out, and it's the mother who notices the wine runs out. Usually it's the women who notice details like that. And so she notices that, and she comes to her son Jesus and says, son, there's no more wine. And he's like, mother, my time hasn't come yet. And she just says, guys, do whatever he tells you. In other words, yes, it is time. Get to work. It really happened. Jesus responded to her intercession, her interceding, and he began his public ministry at the bidding and intercession of Mary. She is an intercessor. The prayers are for Jesus. The prayer goes to him. He is God and he is Lord. But we have this mother who has been given to us by Jesus On the cross, Jesus gave us Mary as our mother, and she's there to take our prayers to Jesus. And sometimes we need a little help with our prayers, don't we? Sometimes we need that apple to be cut and pared, and she knows how to do it. And so with that in mind, I'd like all of us to take a moment. What is it you want to offer today to the King? And for all of us to have a special intention that we're going to place up here on this altar. I have the names of all of these mothers we're going to place on this altar. We're going to give those to Jesus through the hands of Mary, that all these mothers would be blessed today by Jesus. What else? What is it that you want to pray for today? Some of you are going through very, very difficult things. There's relationships that are very difficult or strained, people who are dealing with tremendous health issues, things at work, family, all of that. Whatever it is, let's take a moment and think about that. And I invite you to be like that little boy and hand that prayer to Mary. It's meant for Jesus. You're going to give it to Jesus, but you're going to let Mary take it for a moment and hand it to her son for you. Let's take a moment of quiet and call to mind our personal prayer.